Hey friend, this is Eric from Miller Music, and we are right in the middle of our Song in a Month challenge. We are in week number 3, and we're talking about one of my favorite things, which is recording and mixing guitars and keys. And I'm going to show you a process in this video that works for me in terms of creating a more balanced mix and makes it very easy to mix these two different instruments. And I also encourage you to stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to show you 2 new things that I experimented with when I was making this song that I think you're going to find very useful when it comes to recording guitars. All right, let's jump in. Okay, we are inside of Studio One, and just to recap, week number 1, we talked about recording a scratch track. Week number 2, we talked about recording drums and bass. And now first I'm going to go through the guitars here, and then which are in blue. You can see all of those guitar tracks there. And then in yellow down below is the keyboard tracks, okay? So before we get started, I'm just going to play briefly through this song so you can get a feel for it. You can get a listen to the guitars and keys section by section, okay? So here is the verse. And then coming up. Okay, and then going into the chorus. And then this is like the post-chorus section. Back to the verse. And it kind of builds here going into the chorus. And then here you have the instrumental section. Last chorus. So that's a basic feel of the song. And the very first step that I want to encourage you with is to record multiple tracks. So you'll see here there's about 7 or 8 guitar tracks in blue, and each one is for a different part in the song. And I kind of use this approach the same way when recording vocals when we get to that next week. But so you can see, like, this is the scratch track up top. That was the original track that we used. And then down here is when the chorus chords come in. So I know exactly when those chords are. Then next track I have fills here. Those are different fill sections, more fill sections, like 2 lead parts right here. Then I have like the post-verse parts, okay, and then another lead part. So one of the reasons that I do that this way is because it's so much helpful for mixing. You know, even this lead fill, it doesn't come in till measure 46. It's just I can set it at that level for the entire song when I go to mix it, and I know I don't have to mess with it. Also, you can see, like here, all of the panning. I can easily see which tracks are panned where. That really helps in terms of creating more of a balanced mix. So even in these initial stages, I'm kind of mixing as we go along. I'll set the panning for the guitars how I want it. You know, I'll want to just not have everything panned to one side, but achieve a balance by having some guitars panned to the right and some to the left, usually somewhat of an equal amount. And then lastly, I just put everything into folders. So here's the guitar folder. It folds up nice and neat. so that I can have everything into that one place. Okay, step number 2 is the actual recording of the guitar tracks. And this is where I tried something completely different this time around. And I was really pleased with the results. So I used, instead of an amp, which I've always used amps for recording guitars, I used my Walrus ACS1 pedal for all of the guitar sounds. It's an amp simulator. I'll show you a picture of it right here. And I use this when I play, for example, on the worship team. It's much easier than lugging a big amplifier around. You just put it right on your board, and then you have it for live playing. But this is the first time I did it for actually recording guitars. And one of the biggest things that I found, which was interesting about it, was that with the click of a button, achieve different amp sounds. So I could go from a Fender sound to a Vox sound to a Marshall sound. And I'm just going to play you just the guitars so you can kind of hear the different tones in terms of Fender, Marshall, and Vox. So this beginning intro, that is more of a Fender tone. And then going into the chorus, this instrument, those big strums on the guitar, that's more of a Vox, kind of chimey Vox sound, which I thought worked pretty well for that. And then going over into the instrumental section, I went for the Marshall kind of tone. You hear it has a bit more edge to it. It breaks up a little bit, has more distortion in it. So let's listen to that. So you can really hear that Marshall tone. It's also on the bridge pickup. By the way, this is on a Tele guitar, so all of these tones are with one guitar and one pedal. For this kind of classic Tele bridge sound, and then over here, this is the Tele neck. So it's got much more of a jazzy tone, which I love. I think that it's just so versatile. Of an instrument. So that's really how I got a lot of these sounds, and it still sounds like one pedal, but with different amps. It's just kind of really cool. And again, I've never experimented with that before. Hey friend, real quick, if you are looking for more hands-on help with your recording and arranging, I invite you to check out the Miller Music Club. The Miller Music Club is an online community of songwriters, producers, and musicians helping each other to inspire songwriting and recording their own music. We do a live monthly call, there's a private forum inside the community, and there's a brand new music production roadmap, which is a course I specifically created for the Miller Music Club. And as a part of our Song in a Month challenge, I'm offering a 30-day free trial of the Miller Music Club. So to get access to the Miller Music Club free for 30 days, just click the link in the description below. Okay, back to the video. Okay, step number 3 for recording guitars is just to create a bus track and then route all of my effects to that. So everything is on this bus. So everything over here, that all the guitar tracks are running through that. By the way, to do that, it's really easy. You just highlight all of the guitar tracks that are in blue. You hold down Shift and you click on them. Oh, let's get rid of this Empire. And then you right click and you say add bus for selected channels. Okay. So that, and it automatically creates a bus track, and then you can route everything to there. So what I have inside of this bus is a Pro EQ, where basically I'm just cutting the low ends and the high ends, just extreme high and low, which nothing really passes through. If I were to play the chorus section, just unwanted low end or high end. And then the second thing I have is a delay, this analog delay, which I really like this plugin with in Studio One. I have it set to syncing at quarter notes, 5% boost, and then I have it at a 4% dry wet. So it's just a little touch of delay. I'll let you hear it both with and without it. So here it is with. And as I stop it, you can hear the trails going off. Here's without it now. So it just gives it a little bit more body. I have that going through, and that's it. Those are the only effects. All the other effects are built in on the pedal board. So I have a little bit of a delay on the board, a little bit of reverb, and then like the Walrus ASC1 and a Keeley compressor, which I'm using as well in the front end of that. So that's it for guitars. Okay, so here is step 4. This is recording the keys, and you'll see the keys are down here in yellow, and the keys are all aligned with the chord track up top. So back on the first video, we did the chord track. So when we mapped out our song, we also mapped out the chords, which is really useful because now you can highlight basically this entire chord track. So I'm highlighting it up top. You highlight it, and then you literally drag it down. I'm not going to do it now because I've already done it, but you can drag it down right into a MIDI keyboard track, and it will literally create all the keys for you. So it's just a really fast time saver. Now what it's going to do is just create a whole note or something, whatever you have it up here. So these are whole notes up here. So it's only going to make that. It's not going to create fancy rhythms for you. If you want to play more of a specific piano part in, I would encourage you to do that using a MIDI controller. But this at least gets the basic keys down. Let's give the keys a listen. So by the way, this very first patch I have is with the Mai Tai. And I will say one complaint about Studio One that I have is the names of tracks. So this is called Chill Wave, whatever that means. So you kind of just have to scroll through until you find something that you like. So this is under the pad section, Chill Wave. Okay, so that's kind of running through the song, and then I have in the next section a Rhodes piano. So let's bring that up. And this is this Rhodes full vintage. So I really like the way the Rhodes sounds. It gives it a warm body to it. The piano is very sharp. In some, it's not sharp literally, but just it cuts through the mix, whereas the Rhodes can just fill in the mix. So for this song, I thought it worked well. If I open up this is the MIDI tracks. So you can see down here, here's all the MIDI chords that Studio One just pulls right down, which is really cool, really fast, and really helpful. So that's how I recorded the keys tracks. Okay, so just to recap, we talked about recording guitars. The very first thing was track organization, just recording multiple different guitar tracks for really each part in your song, and that makes it easier to mix your song, panning down the different tracks. Then we talked about getting guitar tones using the Walrus ASC1 pedal. And then we talked about mixing them using the bus guitar, creating a bus track and putting on some Pro EQ and delay onto that. And finally, we talked about how to do keys, and I showed you how to do the keys along with the chord track. So I also have created a playlist to go along with this. So if you want to go back and catch up on weeks 1 and weeks 2, if you are doing this Song in a Month challenge, you can click the link in the description below for the playlist for this. And I also encourage you to check out the Miller Music Club. You can do so by clicking the link in the description below. And I will see you next week when we talk about recording vocals. All right, take care.